Can you believe it? Just losing a mobile phone. You think it's a small matter? But for this couple, it actually attracted the pursuit of a serial killer. The murderer monitored everything about them through the phone and almost killed them both. This thriller movie will definitely overturn your perception. Tomita is just an ordinary office worker. One day, because he was in a hurry to attend a business meeting, he accidentally left his phone in a taxi when he got out. After arriving at the company, Tomita intended to take out his phone to clock in, only to realize he forgot it. However, since there was a contract worth 1 billion yen to be signed that day, Tomita had to set aside the phone issue for now. Meanwhile, a new passenger got into the taxi, glanced at the phone on the seat, and took it directly into his pocket while the driver wasn't paying attention. Not long after this man returned home, he received a call from Tomita's girlfriend, Inabo Asami. He put on a wig, skillfully activated a voice changer, and then told Asami in a little girl's voice that he found Tomita's phone and would drop it off at a nearby cafe later. Asami was grateful to hear that a good Samaritan had found her boyfriend's phone, but what she didn't know was that she was being watched by a pair of evil eyes. This man, named Yashaharu, is a complete psychopath. Perhaps moved by Asami's voice, he entered Asami's phone number on social media and began searching for her personal information. Soon, Yashaharu found Asami's personal homepage, where he was greeted by photos of her life. Looking at her youthful and beautiful face, Yashaharu felt a rush of emotions. Next, he found a photo of Tomita, the owner of the phone, in Asami's friend's circle along with his birthday. Suddenly, Yashaharu had a brilliant idea and tried entering Tomita's birthday on the phone, surprisingly unlocking it on the first try. Once inside the phone, Yashaharu began browsing through the photo album filled with loving pictures of Tomita and Asami, which made him increasingly jealous. In a private album, Yashaharu had the pleasure of viewing several sexy photos of Asami, which made him lose himself in fantasies. He then connected the phone to his computer and installed monitoring software before heading to the other side of the cafe. Unaware of any of this, Asami planned to go to the cafe and emailed her boyfriend to inform him that a good Samaritan had found his phone and that she was on her way to retrieve it. Before long, Asami arrived at the cafe and happily got her phone back. But in an unnoticed corner, Yashaharu was closely watching Asami's every move. That evening, Tomita and Asami went to a restaurant for a date, and Asami excitedly returned the phone to Tomita. Tomita discovered the location tracking app had been added to his phone, but he didn't think much of it. Instead, he was inspired to install one on Asami's phone as well. Tomita thought that this way, they would be able to see each other's locations, and if Asami encountered any situation, he could rush over immediately. However, what Tomita didn't know was that his good intentions were pushing his girlfriend toward danger. At that moment, Yashaharu was sitting in front of his computer, monitoring the two of them. He could now see not only Tomita's location, but also where Asami was. The scene shifted as the police received a report and discovered 5 female bodies on the mountain. The corpses were in a horrific state, with multiple stab wounds to the abdomen. Each victim had long black hair, and a piece of their scalp had been cut off. It was clear that this was the work of the same killer. Due to the extremely serious nature of the case, the police specially formed a task force, and young Officer Manabu was appointed to take charge of the investigation. In the following days, Asami experienced a series of strange occurrences. She first received an email about a login from a different location on her social media account, followed by a series of anonymous text messages. However, carefree Asami never took it seriously, until one day, she opened an anonymous text and found a close-up photo of her boyfriend Tomita with another woman. Asami's eyes widened in anger. That evening, Asami held up the photo on her phone, demanding an explanation from Tomita. Tomita was momentarily taken aback, but after recalling, he remembered the girl in the photo. She was a former intern of his, and they hadn't been in contact for a long time. Although Tomita didn't know where Asami had seen the photo, he swore he was absolutely innocent. Seeing Tomita's sincerity, Asami calmed down. In fact, the strange occurrences Asami had been experiencing recently were all orchestrated by Yashaharu. The email about the login from a different location was also his doing, intended to obtain Asami's new password when she changed it. The photo was sent to provoke a rift between Asami and Tomita, and this was just the beginning. In the following days, Yashaharu monitored Tomita and Asami's activities through their phones, even being able to see their chat content clearly. Not only that, but he also implanted a virus in Tomita's phone, allowing him to steal money and spend lavishly. Although Tomita received a call from the bank, he didn't take it seriously. Meanwhile, Yashaharu continued with his plan, registering a new identity for himself and posing as a cybersecurity officer to send a friend request to Asami. Asami, seeing that the other party was a professional, didn't think much and passed, which was also part of Yashaharu's plan. Soon, Yashaharu found an opportunity. That day, Asami went out for dinner with friends and unexpectedly ran into a senior from her university days, a man who had once pursued her. Upon seeing Asami again, the senior's eyes lit up. He took advantage of their time alone to make advances towards Asami and launched a fierce attack once more. Asami felt annoyed and casually found an excuse to get up and leave the restaurant. Unexpectedly, the senior chased after her, disregarding Asami's resistance, and forcefully kissed her. Asami was terrified, pushed the senior to the ground with all her strength, and loudly told him that she already had a boyfriend, hoping he would respect her and stop harassing her. After saying this, she left quickly without looking back. However, what Asami didn't know was that the scene of her being forcefully kissed by the senior had been captured by Yashaharu, who was hiding in the shadows, and sent to her boyfriend Tomida's phone. Meanwhile, Asami was on her way home when she suddenly received a video on her phone. She opened it and was stunned to see her boyfriend Tomita behaving intimately with a strange woman, even hugging and cuddling. A surge of anger rushed to Asami's head. Without saying a word, she turned around and headed towards Tomita's location. Sure enough, when Asami arrived at the scene, she happened to catch the woman hugging Tomita's neck, snuggling up to him like a little bird. Unable to bear it any longer, Asami turned to leave. Tomita quickly chased after her, grabbing Asami to explain, but in her anger, Asami slapped Tomita hard without saying a word and then scolded him. To her surprise, Tomita no longer defended himself. Instead, he pulled out his phone and showed the video of Asami just now hugging and kissing the senior. Asami felt incredulous. She knew her boyfriend must have misunderstood her, but just as she was about to explain that she was forced, Tomita spoke first. "You don't believe what I say, yet you want me to believe what you say. I'm not a pushover." After saying this, Tomita abandoned Asami and turned to leave, unaware that he was falling right into Yashaharu's trap. After successfully sowing discord between Tomita and Asami, Yashaharu planned to execute the final step of his plan. Meanwhile, the police were still conducting investigations at full speed. Manabu found one of the deceased's mothers to gather information. This mother was unaware that her daughter had been murdered. She said her daughter had called her with a voice message the night before. Manabu found it strange and opened the voice message, only to discover that the audio was artificially synthesized, meaning the deceased phone was still in the hands of the murderer. Then, Manabu tracked the signal of the deceased phone and focused on special professions. While visiting various places, a boss recalled that he remembered a strange customer coming to the store that day, who specifically asked for a girl with long black hair. However, after he sent the girl to the room, the man did nothing but cut off a strand of the girl's hair, repeatedly shouting for his mother. In the end, unable to tolerate the man's strange behavior any longer, the boss said he personally took someone to chase the man away. Manabu suspected that this murderer must have had some tragic experiences during childhood, which is why he vented his resentment on these victims. Soon, the police received a report, and by the time they arrived at the scene, the man had already chosen to take his own life. After searching, the police found a large sack in the room filled with the victims' mobile phones. In addition, the man's computer was also filled with photos of the victims. At first glance, this person was undoubtedly the murderer. However, the observant Manabu noticed that the posters on the man's wardrobe featured girls with short golden hair, which clearly did not match the characteristics of the victims. Manabu believed that this man was not the real murderer. He likely found a scapegoat for himself and deliberately sent a report to the police. Asami had just arrived home when she received a text message from Yashaharu containing a virus. Unaware, Asami opened it, and her phone received a warning that if she did not transfer 300,000 yen to a specified account within 24 hours, her private photos would be published online. Asami was terrified, and just when she felt at a loss, she suddenly thought of the cybersecurity officer who had added her as a friend not long ago. Without thinking, Asami arranged to meet him, never suspecting that this man was the mastermind behind it all. They met at a cafe, and within a few minutes, Yashaharu successfully removed the risk from Asami's phone. Seeing Asami's shocked expression, Yashaharu kindly brought 2 drinks. Trusting him completely, Asami drank it all. Seeing this, Yashaharu was overjoyed and no longer pretended, directly revealing Asami's social media account password and her bank card password. Asami could hardly believe her ears. Even more terrifying was that Yashaharu mentioned a private matter that only she and her boyfriend knew, which was that she had 3 moles on her back. Asami was greatly frightened and suddenly stood up, but it was already too late. The juice she had just drunk had long been drugged by Yashaharu, and at that moment, the drug took effect, causing Asami to quickly lose consciousness. When she woke up again, she found herself hanging from the ceiling. Asami struggled desperately, and at that moment, Yashaharu appeared in a bizarre manner, with long black hair and wearing a white long dress, revealing an extremely creepy smile. Asami was terrified, her face pale. Seeing this, Yashaharu became even more excited. He walked behind Asami, grabbed her hair, and sniffed it repeatedly, then murmured, "It smells just like I imagined, fragrant." After saying that, he casually cut off a strand of hair and ran madly into the house. Asami looked to the side and felt a chill run down her spine. Her scalp tingled as she saw that the wall was covered with strands of long hair. Asami realized that many girls had been imprisoned here before her, and it seemed she had fallen into a den of evil this time. However, Yashaharu didn't seem in a hurry to do anything to Asami. He began to recount how he had gradually ensnared her in his clutches. After Tomita lost his phone last time, he successfully installed a tracking system on it, and then Tomita recommended it to Asami. From then on, the two lived under his surveillance. Asami couldn't help but gasp, connecting it to the previous bizarre events, and she suddenly realized that she had long been targeted. While Yashaharu was boasting about his cleverness, Asami spotted a phone on the stool. Seizing the opportunity, she used voice control to unlock the phone and called her boyfriend. But before the call could connect, Yashaharu ruthlessly hung up. To prevent Asami from making any more moves, he simply turned off the phone. Asami was completely despairing and let out a heart-wrenching scream. Yashaharu grew a bit impatient, and to quiet her down, he picked up a dagger and slashed it hard across Asami's white arm. Asami cried out in pain, but what followed made her even more devastated. Yashaharu stated that he was going to dig a pit outside and bury Asami. After saying that, he imitated Asami's expression and laughed loudly as he walked out of the house. On the other side, Tomita, after seeing his girlfriend's incoming call, hurriedly called back, but the phone on the other end kept indicating it was turned off. Tomita couldn't help but feel an ominous premonition. He immediately called the police and sent his real-time location to them. Tomita suddenly thought of the tracking software on his phone. Based on Asami's last known location before she went missing, he quickly found his way there. Fortunately, Tomita successfully found his girlfriend. He immediately rushed over to untie Asami and helped her leave quickly. But they hadn't gone far when Yashaharu discovered them. He raised an iron rod and struck Tomita's leg bone, breaking it. Then, in front of Tomita, Yashaharu revealed Asami's unknown secret. It turned out that Asami's real name was Yuko, and Asami was the name of her good friend. After graduating from university, Yuko joined a decent company, but the high-intensity work left her feeling exhausted. Later, Yuko met a senior, and the two fell in love. Yuko thought she had found true love, but unexpectedly, the other person turned out to be a complete scumbag. After Yuko got pregnant, he ruthlessly kicked her aside. Worse still, she was betrayed by her best friend. Her friend Asami used her identity information to borrow a large sum of high-interest loans, causing Yuko to be constantly pursued by creditors. Later, Asami, feeling guilty, chose to commit suicide by lying on the tracks. Before dying, she called Yuko and said she wanted to give Yuko her life back. After her friend's death, Yuko changed her name to Asami to escape the creditors and transformed herself to look like the other person. Tomita was shocked to hear this, and Yashaharu asked Tomita if he was still willing to accept Asami. After a moment of hesitation, Tomita firmly stated that he truly loved Asami. Hearing this, Yashaharu shouted and rushed over, wanting to take both their lives. At a critical moment, police officer Manabu arrived and easily subdued Yashaharu with his exceptional skills. Thus, this sensational murder case was declared solved, and Tomita and Asami happily lived together. The loss of a mobile phone unexpectedly led to a suffocating survival crisis. This Japanese film's Stolen Identity uses a suspenseful narrative with a strong sense of reality to expose the hidden anxieties of modern people's digital lives, tearing open a bloody wound. When a mobile phone becomes an extension of the body, have you already handed over your privacy to others? This film is not only a suspense story about tracking and counterkilling, but also a loud wake-up call. In the digital age, protecting your phone is essentially safeguarding our last private space. All right, that's it for today. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.